on, guys? It's Ryan, and it's actually been about 6 months since I filmed my last video. In that time, the only significant thing to note is the fact that I've become a certified welder. You guys actually just saw me practicing for my flux core test, and that is what I got my certification in. Enough about me and my nonsense. Today we've actually got a few things that we want to do to the BRZ. I've actually got 5 mods that I want to do that I think are really good for improving the shifting of the car. The BRZ actually shifts great. The transmission in the car feels pretty good. It's not the best for high horsepower, but when it comes to actually enjoying and driving the car, it's pretty great. But there are a few things that can be improved upon it. For example, a lot of people are not a big fan of the way the clutch pedal feels. So MTEC has gone ahead and given a replacement clutch spring that feels a lot better that most people recommend that you get. MTEC also has created the shifter springs to replace the springs that return the shifter to neutral. They are a bit stiffer springs, so they bring the shifter back to neutral quicker, and it makes certain downshifts easier. And then we've also got the Perrin shifter bushing, and then we've got the transmission mount support, and then we've got the Whiteline positive shift kit. That name's a little bit weird, but it's the transmission support. We're gonna go ahead and install all 5 of these today, and we're gonna see how well that improves the shifting of the BRZ. Not in any specific order, but these are most of the tools we're gonna need. We need our 12 mil, our 14 mil, our 10 mil, our 27 mil. That's kind of random. We got a couple of hooks and picks. We need a 10 mil hex key, some screwdrivers, some needle nose pliers, and when we actually get to using these, I will point out what job we need for each one. From the last time I actually worked on a clutch pedal, I learned that I really hate working inside a car and working on clutch pedals. So we're gonna go ahead and start on that. So we're gonna go ahead and do the MTEC clutch spring first. All right, so we're down here at the clutch pedal, and we are trying to get this clip here off. I can't exactly do that with one hand right now. So we are going to put down the camera and try and pop this off and not lose this clip. All right, you probably can't see it, but that clip is off now. We're gonna go ahead and pry that bolt-on out of there. We'll go ahead and slip the spring out. All right, pin is out of there. Let's figure out what to do next. All right, this thing was the death of me. This was so difficult to get out. I don't know if mine was a special case and it was just like stuck or what was going on there, but I had a really tough time getting the clutch spring assembly out of there. It's out. We're gonna go ahead and replace the spring. Basically, if anybody's struggling to get that out, my best advice to you is literally just like rip it out. I was lifting up on the clutch pedal and just kind of ripping at it with the vice grips because hitting it with a hammer and a flathead just did not really get me anywhere. It was not budging. I sat there for probably close to an hour smacking at it, and I could not get any progress. So here we are. Yeah, let's get that new spring on there. All right, so now we've got our new MTEC spring and the clutch spring assembly there. We're gonna go ahead and take our zip ties and compress the spring so we can fit it in there easier. And we gotta be careful to make sure we don't pinch our zip ties in the spring assembly itself. All right, so we've got the whole assembly back together, and the clutch is feeling pretty good, a little bit lighter, and yeah, hopefully we'll see how that all plays together. All right, now we got the car on jack stands. We're gonna go ahead and get the under trays off, and we're gonna start with the MTEC shifter springs. In most cases, you don't need to drop your exhaust. You can probably squeeze around the stock one, but I have an aftermarket 3-inch exhaust, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pull it down and hopefully clean up some of the exhaust leaks I have. We'll see. It's been over a year since I installed this, so. All right, now that we're underneath the car and we've got the exhaust disconnected, we can very clearly get to our bolt right up here. All right, so the bolt we need to be removing is right there. As you can see, I've already got my Allen key wrench on it, and I've already started to break it loose. If it's stuck, you might want to get something on your hex key to get it loose, but yeah, got it loose. Go ahead and pull it out and pull that spring out. All right, so we got the spring sticking out there. Let's see if I can fish it out here with the camera going. Well, that fell on my face, and now my face smells like grease. That's cool. Let's put the new spring in. All right, so we can probably see that little hole right up there. That's where I use my 27mm socket to go ahead and pop this contraption out. All right, so we got this. The old spring is inside there. Put the new spring in, stick it on in, and we're gonna thread this back in. All right, if I'm being perfectly honest, those two installs have kind of kicked my ass a little bit, but after feeling the way the shifter feels inside the car after replacing those springs, it's definitely worth it. We're gonna definitely find out more when we drive the car, but for right now, we're gonna move on to the Perrin and the Whiteline bushings, and hopefully that goes a lot easier for me because I could really use a break right now. All right, so we've got the drive shaft jacked up here, and we got this drive shaft support loosened. We're going ahead and we are loosening these 12mm bolts up here. It's a little bit tight, but we're gonna go ahead and get those and drop that bushing down and go ahead and replace it with the Perrin. So we've got the old shifter bushing out, and we've got the new one installed down there. I'll show you guys in a second. So we got the shifter bushing in. The shifter rod is a little bit longer than I expected it to be, so when you're removing that, go ahead and just keep pulling it off. It really is pretty straightforward. I haven't seen anybody talk about like getting the actual stock shifter bushing off, so it's very simple. Just make sure you pull it off and get it all the way off. And then getting the drive shaft dropped helps a lot. Didn't need the jack, but it's there. So we're gonna use the jack to hold up transmission while we do this now. All right, so for our final two mods, we've got the Perrin transmission support and the Whiteline transmission mount. We've got the transmission jacked up here. We've got the transmission support here. We've got 3 14mm here, 3 14mm here. We're gonna remove all of those, and then this bracket should drop down. Then we go ahead and get these 4 14mm bolts out, and we'll pop that whole assembly out. So we've got the old transmission mount in here, and we went ahead and already popped this out. I'd go ahead and suggest breaking the 17mm loose before you get this whole assembly popped out. That way it makes it a little bit easier to loosen it up, because the only way you're gonna be able to get it off afterwards is if you have a pretty good impact, and I don't. So basically, we're gonna go ahead and find the forward-facing direction of this mount, which the arrow should indicate. Take this Whiteline bushing, use our lube that we've got, go ahead and shove it on in there. Take the Perrin mount, put that on top, put it all together. I'll show you when we're done, and we'll go ahead and install it into the car. Okay, so we've got our new assembly here. You can go ahead and see our Whiteline and Perrin names there. Not that it really matters at this point. It's just going in the car, so let's go ahead and slap it on down there and get it in place. So we got the mount and everything back together. We got that 19mm tightened up. I haven't seen anybody mention this, but this bolt gets replaced with a 19mm, so keep that in mind if you are, tight on tools and everything. But we got everything back together here. I just need to get these nuts back on here and tightened up. I was just waiting to actually get the transmission lowered to actually have it in the proper position to have those tightened up. And yeah, we'll get those tightened up, get my exhaust back on, and then I guess we'll go ahead and take this for a test drive and see how everything feels together. All right, with the car back on the ground in the garage, an absolute complete mess at the moment, we have completed our 5 mods to the car, and we're gonna go ahead and give it out a test drive and see how it feels. Probably wasn't very easy to hear me inside my car because of the weird staticky thing that was going on. As I was trying to explain, ever since my car got into an accident, I've had a weird issue with the speakers popping kind of randomly. I believe it has something to do with the ground that got missed or something at some point. Talked to them about it, haven't really got an answer. Seems like things have been made much worse even though I didn't touch anything wiring related. It seems to be like staticking and popping with my exhaust note, which is quite jarring, believe it or not. Regardless of that, overall the car feels great. I love how stiff the bushings feel and how my shifting feels now. Even the rear end of the car feels more stable and more solid. It's very strange how everything kind of works together and reacts to it. But the clutch feels great, the shifter feels great, the shifting feels great, and overall I think it improved the car a lot. It's 5 pretty simple mods to improve the shifting of the car, and I think it's pretty vital for the car itself. Some people may not care for the noise, vibration, and harshness that it gives you. In a weird way, I kind of like it. You get a nice transmission whine that sounds pretty cool, especially when you're in reverse. Some people may think it sounds bad. I think it sounds kind of cool. The car is meant to be a sports car, and I like if it has sporty elements to it. But other than that, that's probably going to be it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys got some help with installing those mods for yourself. Hopefully I gave you a little bit of insight into wanting to install them for yourself. So with that, hope you guys have a good one, and I'm out. Peace. You show the lights, stop me down to stone.